Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Sunday, March 26th, around 8:15 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. Well, the tornado threat has waned, but major hail is falling across the same region tonight, and that's the big story. More storms feared after the Mississippi tornado. Keep calm. It's boom time. Now, the tornado was one of the strongest in recorded history for an EF4, and we'll get to the details in just a moment. But Biden declared an emergency after the deadly storm, thankfully. Search and recovery efforts continue amid warning of more severe weather after 26 people were killed on Friday night, and it was a miracle, according to some. People that lived in this region don't know how a single person survived this catastrophe. Just trying to get the resolution up here. As you can see, total destruction. And the video we shared last night was, well, much worse than the one we're showing now. There was nothing left in certain regions. Like here where you see a car 20 feet off the ground. Tractor trailers thrown around like toys. And the people that lost not only their homes, but their entire lives, the history, this town. This town has a new history now, and it's one of recovery. So please, thoughts and prayers go out to the people in Mississippi tonight, still recovering. Now here's a list of F4 and EF4 tornadoes. EF4 is the new enhanced Fujita scale, which didn't really come into use until recently, around the 2000s. It's a more reliable scale, but if we go all the way back in history for EF4s, there are no EF4s, even dating back to 1000 in the UK, that have as many fatalities as this one. In September 21st of 1897 in Italy, 55 were killed by an EF4 tornado in Uriah. 28 were killed in June 30th of 1912 in Canada, in Saskatchewan, in Regina. And if we come to the United States, we can barely find a more deadly EF4. Back in 1875 in South Georgia, 28 plus dead. And these are all the known major tornadoes. 34 dead in 1878 in Connecticut. That's a weird place for a tornado. 31 dead in 1880 in Missouri. Over 100 killed in Missouri in 1880. Wow. On the same date. So multiple EF4s turning out on that date. But as you can see, I scroll the data. Here's 56 dead in 1883. 2 days later. Wow, that was a bad year to be alive. But overall, one of the most deadly EF4 tornadoes in recorded history, especially in modern times. Here are the modern data for EF4s. Very few deaths, always less than 10, dating back all the way to 1950. Now, Mississippi braces for another round of potentially severe weather, and we'll have the full forecast in just a moment. At the same time, a new storm is to bring heavy rain and strong winds and snow, ho, 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 to California. Shut up, Al! He doesn't believe it's going to be the snowiest ever for the Sierra, but it is, as an atmospheric river-fed storm is on track to dump up to 3 feet of snow at Tahoe, pushing the limits of the records. And it will be record-breaking for many states in the West, the most snow ever. If you want to keep up to date on all the breaking news, follow us over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave. Now, the big story developing now with the record snowpack is going to be the record melt season. And we already know that Lake Tulare or Tulare or Tulare, however you say it, but when the southwest corner of Tulare Lake floods, thousands of tons of LA County sewage sludge containing toxic heavy metals will become part of the mix in the newly formed lake. You can't grow food for humans where this waste has been spread. And it's spreading, and the lake is growing. Oh, back to road. Let's take a look. So this lake certainly has the potential to get much deeper and much dirtier, according to our reports. You can click on the link here over at our Twitter feed to get more info. As huge hail continues to fall in the severe weather threat region. Another round of severe thunderstorms in the south. Another Pacific storm expected for California. Scattered severe thunderstorms will likely occur today from central Louisiana eastward across the central Gulf Coast states into the Carolinas. Very large hail and several tornadoes are possible, including a couple of strong tornadoes. We haven't seen that yet, but the evening is developing. Another Pacific storm will bring additional rounds of heavy rain and mountain snow to California late Monday into Wednesday. And there is that severe weather threat currently that will be moving east to the Carolinas by Monday, which will not be a fun day for North Carolina indeed. The snowfall totals are not insignificant. Let's take a look. Here is the Monday through Tuesday. So some moderate snow up in the plains in the northeast here, some snow in the west. But this here on Tuesday morning when the snow starts to fall in earnest in the Sierras, moving down towards Tahoe in the southern Sierras by Thursday. So several feet, up to 3 feet of snow, predicted as the models show more snow for the northern plains, Wisconsin, Michigan, Canada, continuing through the first week of April. Seismic update, no quakes of note. All is quiet on the Ring of Fire, moderate activity, nothing substantial or significant. As well as on the worldwide volcano front, there are no real volcanic eruptions of note in the last 24 to 36 hours. Merapi has seen incandescent avalanches branching off into two arms, becoming quite spectacular as continuing pyroclastic flows and photo opportunities. Take a look at that. Cotopaxi in Ecuador, special volcano report showing declining volcano activity, which is good news. And at Popocatépetl in Mexico, the eruption showered the summit with lava fragments just the other evening. Space weather news, the sun is quiet. We are at solar max. We should not be in this weak B-C range cusp. But good news, because of our waning magnetosphere, we don't want any X-flares coming our way. So even though that there are sunspots peppering the disk, and some of them, this one in particular, is listed as beta gamma, there is very little flaring. Nothing is happening, so that means space weather is quiet. KP is at 2. Who knew? Now you do. Now, a new paper says Amuamua was a comet, not an alien spacecraft. And I couldn't agree more. The only problem is the paper talks about ice and water on a piece of rock that we imaged and saw fly through. There was no ice or water on it, and all of the so-called comets that we've landed on have no water. But this paper, acceleration of Amuamua from radiolytically produced H2 and H2O ice, is not sitting very good with me. But this paper is. A new study on Australian volcanoes has changed what we know about explosive hotspot volcanism. Well, not really. The new study published in Nature Geoscience, Increasing Complexity and Magnetic Architecture of Volcanoes Along a Waning Hotspot, basically says that around 30 million years ago, big volcanoes were exploding on the continent of Australia due to hotspot activity in the mantle. And then it quickly ended, and it's not happening anymore. Now, the strange thing is that this type of volcanic activity, super volcanic activity, under continental plates was happening here in the Rocky Mountains at La Garita caldera and many other regions in the Rockies, as well as worldwide and underneath continental plates. So something else was happening 30 million years ago to heat up that mantle and cause these continental plate hotspot eruptions of epic proportion. We're talking VEI 7 and VEI 8 eruptions. So the sky would be dark for years, if not decades. So nothing like this is happening in our current geologic environment, thankfully. So mark your lucky stars that we're not alive 30 million years ago. All the links will be below to everything we talk about tonight. Smash that thumbs up, folks. We love each and every one of you. Now, Philadelphia officials say drinking water remains safe for now. Wait, what? Philadelphia drinking water? Yeah, there has been a chemical spill in the Delaware River. The entire U.S. is becoming more and more toxic. The city of Philadelphia says it's now confident tap water from the Baxter drinking water treatment plant will remain safe to drink until at least 11:59 p.m. Monday, following a chemical spill in the Delaware River. The city earlier advised residents to drink bottled water out of caution, most of which is toxic as well. Oh, hell. Now, this is the first time that a fungus is behaving like a bacteria, and that is bad news, folks. Ohio is among the top states for the deadly fungus infection. In some patients, the fungus can enter the bloodstream and spread through the body, causing serious and sometimes deadly invasive infections. But not typically. This is mostly just a fear-mongering tactic coming from Cincinnati 9 in Ohio. Let's take a look.
Potentially deadly fungus spreading rapidly across the country. The CDC calls it an urgent threat. We sent Valerie Lyons to get the facts about what kind of local threat we're talking about here. She's live now. So Valerie, people here joke this is a little too close to home to the premise of that video game and HBO show The Last of Us. Not that serious of a threat.
Yeah, Evan, don't worry. That's not the case here. We don't all have to start planning for the apocalypse, but that doesn't mean there isn't cause for concern. I mean, this fungus has been detected in dozens of states, including Ohio, with more than 200 cases right here in Hamilton County between 2020 and 2022.
The CDC has this listed as an urgent threat. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's urgent threat because this is the first time that a fungus behaves like a bacteria.
Drug resistant and fast spreading. That's why medical experts are sounding the alarm about Candida auris, a new species of yeast responsible for most fungal infections worldwide.
This fungus can live on the skin of people, and therefore it can act as a nidus of infection. In other words, it can spread from one person to the other.
Dr. Mahmoud Ghannoum is the world's leading expert on fungal disease and currently leads the Center for Medical Mycology at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. He says the fungus was first identified in Japan in 2009, and it's been spreading ever since.
Because of the new technology that we are using to identify this organism, we are seeing it more and more.
Is everyone at risk? Ghannoum says no. Though the fungus spreads through contact, most who are infected are either longer-term hospital patients or elderly in nursing homes.
Can live on sheets, surfaces in the hospital, the hands of healthcare providers. They have sometimes to close some hospital wards because they got contaminated.
It's spread.
So we have a new yeast infection spreading across the U.S. People are fear-mongering about it. And who knew? Well, Dr. Ghannoum did. Now, didn't he? And all the links will be below. It's only affecting people with pre-existing conditions and the severely infirm. So if you're healthy and you eat well and you exercise, you probably don't need to do anything, like especially take an experimental vaccine. Now, eminent Oxford scientists say wind power fails on every count. It could be argued that the basic arithmetic showing wind power is an economic and societal disaster in the making should be clear to a bright primary school child. Wow, that is embarrassing. Now, the Oxford University mathematician and physicist, researcher at CERN, and fellow of Keble College, Emeritus Professor Wade Allison, has done the sums. And the UK is facing the likelihood of a failure in the electricity supply in a epic proportion. Wind power fails on every count, he says, adding that governments are ignoring overwhelming evidence of the inadequacies of wind power and restoring to bluster rather than reasoned analysis. In a new study coming out by Wade Allison, the inadequacy of wind power, the 10-page full-color PDF is going to be free for you all tonight to share with the people you love. Wind power is a joke. It kills birds. It powers almost nothing. It costs billions upon billions of dollars, and the trillions of dollars of biodiversity destruction, mining, and toxic waste is unfathomed and untold at our universities. So wake up to the green nightmare that they're pushing. Another green nightmare they're pushing is the Dirty Dozen. Every year, the Dirty Dozen has revealed the most contaminated fruits and vegetables. Did you know some fruits are sprayed with over 100 toxic chemicals if they are not organic? And even the organic ones are sprayed with chemicals that are claimed to be organic but are still toxic. Yeah, that's the insanity of the organic movement. But there's better news with the Clean 15, and tonight we're going to share with you the Dirty Dozen of 2023 and the Clean 15 to get you up to speed. This means what you shouldn't be buying in the supermarket that's not organic. If it's not organic, do not buy strawberries, the number one dirty food. Number two is spinach, inorganic spinach. Inorganic kale, collard greens, and mustard greens have the most chemicals. Peaches. Pears, number 5. Nectarines are 6. Apples are 7. Grapes are 8. Bell and hot peppers, number 9. Cherries coming in at 10. Blueberries, 11. And green beans are 12. These are the dirtiest, most toxic, chemical-laden vegetables you can find in the supermarket if they are conventional, meaning they're not an organic label. If they have an organic label, we have the Clean 15. Even if they don't have an organic label, these are the least pesticide-laden fruits of the year and vegetables: the avocado, sweet corn, pineapple, onion, papaya. Now, papaya is usually in the Dirty Dozen, so it's good news to see the papaya over here. Make sure, well, we'll get to that in another podcast. See here that asterisk? There is a GMO papaya that you want to steer clear of. Sweet peas, frozen, are clean this year. Asparagus, honeydew melon, kiwi, cabbage, mushroom, mango, sweet potato, watermelon, carrots. So stick to these vegetables in your diet if you can't afford the organic stuff, and stay away from the Dirty Dozen. Links will be below. And if you want to know more about growing clean food, locally sourced, open pollinated, non-GMO, and organic, come to the San Luis Valley Seed Exchange, where some of the most amazing like-minded people that are growing abundance throughout their communities will be gathering April 1st and 2nd. Lee and I will be there. We're going to be speaking on April 1st at 11:30 a.m. Let's take a look at the vendors, shall we? There's going to be dozens of people here. It's going to be amazing. Well, this is the speaker list. Lee and I are going to be speaking at 11:30 a.m. I really do want to take a look at the vendor list, and then we'll even look at the sponsors real quick. Here, look at this. Joyful Journeys Hot Springs is where the event is. Look at how many vendors are going to be there, and they all sound awesome. Mix Mobile Elixir Bar, Tacos Martinez, Joyful Journeys Kitchen, Soil Sangre de Cristo Bean Patch Seeds, good friends of ours, may be watching our stand while we do our talk. Beyond Hype Seed Company, Botanical Wellness, Brainstrap Genetics, Crestone Energy Fair, good friends of the channel. Heart and Soil Project, Lil Farmer, Fungi Compost, Alpine Valley Mushrooms, another good friend of the channel. Lab Coat Genetics, High Grounds you get the picture. Just a bunch of cool, awesome people coming together to celebrate the local community and the local abundance that we have. Now, Lee and I are going to be talking about Well, the title of our talk is The Backyard Gardener, Permaculturalist Zone 5A. So if you live in Zone 5A, please don't miss the discussion. Come to the San Luis Valley Seed Exchange, and we'll see you there. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Hope you got something out of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. Give us a thumbs up. Support the work we do by becoming a Patreon, where you can look at all of the videos we produce commercial-free. You can also join us over at our Q&A, 5.me/diamond, and ask me a question. All the links are below. And we'll see you this weekend.